Welcome back, episode 2 of the very named Only Teams That Matter. I'm Coley Mick with the ever cheerful, big time Yankee fan, Clue 24. What's going on, Kev?
I've seen better days.
What do you
If
mean?
I've listen, I watched the Yankees play baseball for 9 hours this weekend, brother. That
Same.
could have that 9 hours. Your 9 hours is a little bit different than mine, but that's 9 hours I could have been spent doing quite literally anything else that I cannot get back. So I'm pretty calm because the Yankee season's been over for 6 weeks or so. So I'm pretty calm. Got some shit to get off my chest, but I'm not great. I'm not great. It's not
Well,
great right now.
what could you possibly have? I mean, I'm looking at Yankee Stadium. I'm looking at pictures from the weekend. You guys are driving nuns to drink. Literal women of the cloth are pounding beverages because I don't know, they can't believe how good the team is. I can't imagine why they would be driven to drink like this.
I'm fairly certain it's not what you just said. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain it ain't that. As far as what I have to get off my chest, not from a single game perspective. None of these results really matter. Like I'm not upset that the Yankees lost three straight. I don't really care. Now, why Everson Pereira, Austin Wells, and Oswald Peraza are toiling in the minor league, I have no fucking idea. That
They're
part pisses
not
me off.
toiling. They're raking in the
Yeah,
minor league.
excuse me.
Every
Yeah,
update I see, it's
yeah.
like, what did Wells hit, like a grand slam and a two-run home run today or something
I
like
think
that?
so. I know he homered at least once. Yeah, yeah. Why they're in the minors? Just we got to watch Billy McKinney at bats, Jake Bowers at bats. That part is upsetting. Like the rest of it, these games that they lose, I'll give the Yankees this. It's going to sound very backwards, but personally, losses a loss is a loss to me. 5-1, 10-1. I don't care about fight. If you lose, you fucking lose. That's how I take it. And the Yankees do us all a solid because when they go down 2-0, it is over. It's done. It's finished. It's a wrap. They don't even waste time. Like there's no fake like the Yankees for years. Like even when they were good, like they would have all these fake rallies in games they lose. Like we were down 6-1 going into the ninth, and we brought the tying run to the plate, and we still lost. Like those kind of fake rallies, they don't even have those no more. They just die. Like they just die. You punch them in the face, dead, done, done. That's it.
Even today, the Yankees kept tying the game, and it felt very fake because Junior Valentine put on one of the worst umpiring exhibitions I've ever seen. Like I'm not going to IKF played well, I thought today, especially with the bat in his hand. Or not IKF, excuse me. Well, he did also, but Volpe. Volpe played well today with the bat in his hands. I'm not gonna chirp the distance on that home run. It was a home run. However, it shouldn't have been a 3-run shot. Schreiber was hitting his spot time after time after time. And Valentine had not an established strike zone at any
At
point in
all,
this
at
game.
any point, at all, at all, at all, bro. It was
So that like
miserable.
Schreiber's like, I'm hitting my spot. There was a pitch earlier in the game, Pavetta threw where Wong wasn't catching. Um, why am I why am I blanking on the
Are
other
we talking
pitcher's
about
name?
the strike? Are we talking about the strikeout that wasn't?
Yeah, when Bader was walking to
Bro,
the
bro. And it's like, here's the thing with that. Like, I know people get upset with late calls,
Reese
but
McGuire. I don't know why I was blanking on his fucking name.
but
Keep going.
but but brother, if the batter himself takes 3 steps, not one, not half, 3 whole steps to his own dugout, I think you should just ring him up. Like you fucked it up. He's telling you, yo, I'm out. He's telling you,
I
I'm out. Ring him up.
I that's one where I'd like to see even more accountability from Bader. Just keep walking to the dugout. Just be like, I'm gonna do your job for you. Like I'm out. I know I'm out. Like there's no arguing here.
Imagine if he just kept walking and the umpire never actually makes a call. And he's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna forfeit the at bat. Fuck it. I'm out. I know I'm out. That's what's right to do here. The umpire was awful. Oh, he was awful.
There was another pitch. I think Chris Martin threw it about like just I'm just talking on the graphic, not in the real world. About 7.5 inches top right, like not even close to the strike zone, and he's confidently, ah. I was like, what are you talking about?
It
The
was
one
so bad.
call, the one call I think he did get right was the IKF play at home. I think he was safe. Like
Um.
genuinely think he was
Oh,
safe.
oh, oh, oh! I thought you meant the out calls, right? All right, sorry. Go ahead. I was about to
No,
go.
he called him safe. And when they're showing the replay, I still haven't seen a convincing angle that says Wong got him. And I would like to say, unbelievable throw by Story. Like on the money,
No, it was.
perfect
No, it
throw.
was. It was.
Wong scooped it and like came up with it. If he just kept his glove down, and I know it's reactionary, I know it's easier said than done.
Right.
If he keeps his glove down, there's no
Back.
debate. Like maybe the ball gets jarred loose, maybe that's part of the equation here too.
Right.
But it's like a clear tag at least. This, I like. It looked like he got him up here, and IKF to me very like there. Even if you want to say, obviously he had to have touched his leg at some point. That wasn't conclusive. It wasn't fucking conclusive at
That's
all.
the problem. That's the problem. Like, if they had called him out and they wanted to keep it out, I can't complain. Like, all
Sure,
right, whatever.
sure.
You called him out. It wasn't a lot to overturn there. They called him safe.
Right.
Every angle looked like he was safe. There was nothing
Did.
that was like, you know what? I could see why. I could squint hard enough to see why he called him out. None of that. It didn't exist. I couldn't believe when the umpire came in. They were like, the call on the field has been overturned. I just sat there silent. I
I was
couldn't
shocked.
believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I know I shouldn't be shocked because the MLB replay system is a fucking nightmare anyway. I shouldn't be shocked. But I was like, but normally this whole like, oh, we there's not enough conclusive evidence. They lean on that pretty hard. So I was
Right.
like, there's no way they can overturn this, right? This man came out and said the call has been overturned. The runner is out, brother. I was in shock. I had no words. There was nothing to say. I couldn't believe it.
It was genuinely shocking. And the more shocking part was then Boone challenged if it was interference. And it was like, why weren't they already looking at that too? I thought that was the whole point of why it took this long.
Honestly, they should have just took his challenge and then went back on the field. Not even, we already looked at the shit. He out. They should have just done that. Would have been very. I would have forgiven them. I'd be like, telling Boone like, bruh, we looked at this shit for 15 minutes. We didn't give a fuck about your challenge. But so many
Right.
words would have been very funny, and I would have forgiven them. But they didn't do that. They went and looked at it again for fucking reasons unknown.
That was absurd. The Red Sox broadcast was like, why
Why? You
didn't they do
just
this in
looked
the
at this
first
shit for
place?
15 minutes. Like, you need more time?
Well, the whole review, that was kind of what Merloni and O'Brien were saying. They were like, well, they're looking at both things here. They're looking to, and then when they came back and they went back on the mic, like the Yankees have challenged obstruction or whatever. And they were like, what?
Like, they
Why
were
is
just
it taking
reviewing
so long?
this. So why is it taking so long? Like, it took so long in the first place, and then they challenged it, and you actually went back and looked at it again. It's like you just looked at the fucking play from like 87 angles, bro. You should have a good grasp on whether the catcher interfered or not by now. I don't think you need to look at the shit again.
What happened with the Greg Allen double, which was infuriating? But what, like, did the Yankees try and challenge that for a home run, and they just told them to go fuck themselves because they
No,
went on the mic
the
again?
umpires looked at it themselves.
Oh, they did look at it. Okay.
Umpires looked at it themselves, and there were about six different times I knew the Yankees lost today, and that was the creme de la creme. The ball hit. Oh, runner on second, nobody up. I bet you he's not going to score. Like, he's not going to fucking score. Like,
Well, the reason I knew it was over was because Judge came up in the ninth with runners on. If he comes up and there's no one on there, there's no doubt in my mind he hits his daily home run because he hadn't hit one yet. He hit one yesterday. He hit one Friday. His daily home run was due, but it was a clutch situation with guys on. So that was the fastest three pitches. Did the Yankees broadcast note that was the first Judge Kenley matchup? Because
they
that
did.
was shocking to me.
They did, and I couldn't believe that either.
Genuinely shocking. They've both been in the league for so long.
Didn't last long.
Interleague play is not new.
Didn't last long. That shit went by in a blink. Like, once I saw it, I don't know. Did Judge take the first? I don't remember how.
No, he swung.
Oh, that was the one that
Scared
was
the
middle
shit
middle.
out of me.
I was like, yeah, I know how this bat's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna throw him a breaking ball,
Mhm.
and then he's gonna throw him another fastball, and
I was
then
shocked
he's
he
gonna be
went low and in. I like if I'm pitching a Judge, I know he's fixed this hole. I'm still going low and away to Judge. Like that was the hole that he had in his swing up until really last year. He's fixed that pretty well, but that's still where I'm living. I can't. Kenley going in and like
And,
dotting him like
given
that.
given how the umpire was on, you might get a bullshit call for strike three. So
Right.
I'm
That's
definitely not throwing him no strikes at that point. But he
mm-mm.
did. He got away with it. So
Now that wasn't like I said. Judge hit 2 homers this weekend. He also took what I like. I think he knows who I am because there's no reasonable explanation for the picture he took to announce his Jordan Brand deal. Like what's going on in this guy's head?
man, listen, I'm gonna take a different approach to this. Because when I saw the picture, my first thought wasn't even the whole "this man has zero rings and he's doing this." That wasn't even my first thought was, we really need another reminder that Michael Jordan got 6 championships. Like we don't get enough of those fucking daily. We need yet another one to remind us that Michael Jordan got 6 championships. We get it. We get it. Now, to address the judge portion of it, it's like, all right, I know good and well this wasn't his idea. I know damn well it wasn't his idea. Now,
He still sat there and took the picture.
thank you. I was going to get there.
So,
He still sat there. He took the picture, and it's like, if you don't care, then you just don't care. Because
right.
clearly he does not care. There's no way he sat there and took it. And like, I know Judge to be a blocker on social media, so I know he sees the shit that we be saying. I'm like, he's a blocker, so like I know he sees the shit that we be saying. So like, there's no way he actually cares and still did this with the little sad ass Jumpman ring on his fucking picky on his index finger. Like, there's no way he did this shit and he actually cares. I just and it's like I gotta see that picture now for basically eternity,
Mhm.
and he doesn't care, but like, I care. Like, the repetitiveness is already old, and the picture's like 4 days old. I'm just like, oh my god, how many times are you gonna show us this? How
He
many times?
definitely. I do think that's an underrated point you brought up. Athletes not taking into account how this will affect fan bases because things like this happen. I mean, it never bothered me, but I heard about Tom Brady wearing Uggs for so long that I just fucking finally bought a pair. I was like, you know what? Clearly, he knows something I don't. I like because again, it never bothered me because I was just like, well, this is such a weird thing to chirp someone for. But I just, it was like double marketing. Like that, it was like,
Yeah,
it's like people chirping them for it. I was just like, I don't know. They look pretty cozy, man. I
Uggs
don't know
got
what
nice.
to tell you.
Uggs got nice boots, not for nothing. They got nice
Tremendous,
boots. Tremendous boots.
tremendous.
Can't even knock it. But obviously they were thinking about a certain pair of Uggs when they were making those jokes. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Yeah,
Right, but yeah, it's
bro.
just so funny. Like
And
it's
like that dropping like right now just makes it
right,
so much worse from
right.
a jokes perspective, because it's like, but the Yankees can't even win a baseball game. This man is taking pictures with Jumpman rings. Like, they can't win a baseball game. Legit, they've lost 8 straight.
8 straight, longest since '95. Longest losing streak since 1995, which it's one of those things where like the Warriors haven't lost like 3 straight games or something like that in like a decade. When you can look back, it's like wow, that's really dominant. But when you're in it, it fucking stinks. There's no reflecting like oh we've been so good for so long. No, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. And there's no beam of light on this team. It's
No,
not like we can say, all right, well, I mean Anthony Volpe, he's been pretty good, all things considered, the last couple of months. Okay, him excluded. What?
he had a hilarious throw today.
Listen, I forgot to mention that. Yo, the minute he threw it, Paul Leo was like, "Oh no, this was the funniest shit." And it wasn't even like, if you didn't listen hard enough, you couldn't hear it. That's what made it even
Right.
funnier. It was just, oh no, it was
Oh
so
no.
fucking
Yeah.
funny. It was so fucking funny. But yeah, that was that. And what made that throw even more ridiculous is that he wasn't gonna get him anyway. That's what made that throw even
No.
more ridiculous.
No.
He was
Well,
not,
it was a bad throw from Glaber. Like Glaber did him no favors.
everybody fucked up the play. Everybody.
Right.
But like,
Volpe
Volpe should have
just
ate it,
sending it
and then he just sent that shit. I was like, oh my god, bro. Because I saw the throw and I'm like, oh no.
out of
The
his hand. You knew it was wrong. You knew it wasn't getting where it needed to go out of his hand.
at all. But like, yo, there's no hope. This is not like one of those like, okay, well, we brought up Everson Pereira and Austin Wells, and they're showing some good signs. Da, 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 da. It's just the same bullshit, rudderless veterans getting run out every single fucking day, and we just gotta sit here and watch them lose. and then it's just we got to hear the sunshine and rainbows from Aaron Boone and the Pressers. And granted, I don't care about that shit, but those who do watch, I imagine they care. So it's like, yeah, they had a good run, a good long ass run. It's over now, so this is not fun. Like the games are not fun, and the results damn sure are not fun. So here we are.
Uh, Garrett Cole against the Red Sox since becoming a Yankee, including the postseason. 13 starts, 70 innings, 68 hits, 42 earned runs, 21 walks, 20 dingers, 5.4 ERA, 5.21 FIP, and he's given up north of 2.5 home runs per 9 innings. And I feel like pretty much all of them are Rafael Devers. Uh, Now, we haven't done shit since you guys signed Cole either. You
That's
guys
the
signed
only
him in
reason
what?
I don't care. Like that's the
In
only
19?
reason I do not care. Like,
Did he get there in 19? Has he been there that long?
uh, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's
Since
crazy.
19, I believe.
He
No,
still feels like
no,
he
wait,
just
wait, no,
got there.
19 was the Nationals Astros series. No, he signed the COVID year. He signed the 20.
That's right. He lost to the Nationals. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because Adrian Hinch
Uh,
left him in the bullpen for reasons unknown. But yeah, no idea. Adam Warman is like, oh no, we're not going to bring him in. Okay, then don't.
that stat was per Jared Carrabba's too. Never heard of him. What like does it? Obviously, we're in fourth. But even that's the game you can't get. Like that would be for us. Like his ERA jumped point 0.3 points. You know what I mean? Like it was not an insignificant game for him when he's
The Red
looking at
Sox were
like a
playing like they
potential
were
Cy
trying to
Young.
get him up out of the Cy Young conversation. That's what they were
Right.
doing. Like. That's
Right.
what I think. I was like, wow, they're taking this real personally. They're trying to knock this man out of Cy Young contention. If the Red Sox were better, I would care about this. And like I've seen some of the home runs that Rafael Devers has hit off him. I don't know what the fuck he's supposed to do. I've seen him, but I'm just like, what
In
do
the
you want
dirt.
him to do?
In the
Bro,
dirt.
last year Rafael hit one of the most ridiculous home runs I've ever seen. Center straightaway in fucking Fenway. The pitch is at his shins. Not exaggerating. A changeup, not even like a 99 mile an hour fastball where he's
Right.
providing most of the power. An off-speed pitch at this man's shins. He one arms it to center field out of the park. What the fuck is Garrett supposed to do about that shit? And that's a recurring theme. There's Rafael Devers hitting pitches at his shoulders, on the ground, 2 feet outside. Like it doesn't matter. When Rafael Devers comes to town or we go there, he leaving there with something.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
leaving there with something. Every series, he's leaving there with something.
When we did the preview episode, it was like there's no hatred. I don't know that Devers hates anything. He doesn't care for the Yankees. Like he definitely doesn't
Yeah,
like them.
no,
It's,
no.
nothing's really happened. I mean, he was he even on the? He must have been on the team for the Joe Kelly fight. So maybe that just left a bad taste in his mouth. Like he's been stewing on
That
that
was
for 5
17,
years.
right? Or 18?
18. 18.
It was 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was there at 18.
The last season we both mattered.
Oh man, and like the Yankees are so bad, I can't even make fun of that tweet from I forget which Red Sox reporter about them celebrating in the clubhouse. I saw it, I was
So
like, really? And I
I've
can't say
been
anything because we stink. But yeah, go ahead.
I've been thinking about that since I saw the tweet. I didn't react to it online, and it was like we beat a last place team. Like
Yes,
it's,
bro.
but I also like I don't like to be the don't have fun in baseball guy. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Exactly.
it's like it's still the Yankees. It still shows we care. If Aaron Boone were half the manager, like a dead raccoon is, that he would use this as motivation. Because we play again in September, he would bring that back up, like they celebrated and da da da. Da. Not that it would work. You guys had a closed door meeting before this series and played possum up until this last game for reasons unknown. But I think it's more dropping the national series. I think they were like, hey, do we actually want to try at this thing, or are we just kind of like you guys checked out? And the fact that today was a battle, Schreiber giving up the 3-run like every time we would go up one, it would just be immediately tied. When we left two on base, in the ninth, I was like, I feel like they're about to just tie it, and this game's never going to end. They're just going to keep fighting back. We're going to keep leaving a pitch in the middle of the zone, something. So I think the way it happened, Kenley refuses to be comfortable until like the winning run's on, not even the tying run. He needs to hit the winning run, put him on
He needs
first.
stress in his life. He's one of those. He needs stress.
It's like I trust him and do not simultaneously. It's a hard life, but I think it was a big win, even removing the Yankees, just being like, hey, we have not just one option, we have two options at second base we're comfortable with. For the first time since Manny Machado took out Dustin Pedroia, Story's back. Now he's won for his last 19, but his glove was on display this series. It really was. He was making plays all over the field. Devers got hot. This is the first time he's been like a string of games, I feel like, in a while. Yoshida hit that home run, was otherwise quiet. Turner's battling through injuries. You guys didn't even get to face Tristan Casas because you gave him a toothache. I don't know how you guys managed that one, but that was messed up. And the pitching for our pitching, which has been troublesome most of the season, it was. I know it's a dead dog lineup 1 through 9. They showed up. Bayo was electric on Friday. Who went yesterday? I should know who went yesterday.
You should. Oh, Crawford.
Oh yeah, Cutter Crawford went
Oh yeah, we got
yesterday.
to talk about
He
that.
was nils.
We got to talk.
Why? What did he do?
Oh no, the bunt and the excuse.
Oh, right.
Listen, oh he can't throw the bases. Like, brother, you're down by 4 runs. Four, not one. It's not the ninth inning. You're down one. It's not the fifth inning. You're down one. You're down by four. And like, who are you setting it up for? I think Billy McKinney was batting behind that game. Like, you might as well just hit at that point, bro. Just hit. Like, this guy has a 4 ERA and like a 1.3 WHIP, and they're talking about we're just trying to get him to make a mistake. Pardon me? Like, that's your game plan here? Like, not to hit the guy. No, we hope that we bunt and he throws the ball into the stands. Basically, where we're going with, and we said this out loud on purpose for people to actually hear. Insane, insane behavior.
What I will say about Cutter Crawford, he's not a pitcher. You can look at his numbers and know who he is. Like he's very much a guy I trust with the ball in his hand. He doesn't have plus stuff like with any pitch. Not a single one of them is a plus pitch. He just has pitches. And he goes out there and he competes. Like I know it's all superlatives, but that's just the only way to describe Cutter Crawford. When I saw it was Crawford versus Cole, not even because I dislike Garrett Cole. I just didn't think it was a huge advantage for one team or the other. Again, largely in part because your lineup's terrible, but Crawford in Yankee Stadium, like I'm all in on him being a member of this rotation next year. Now, I'm not all in on him being a member of the rotation at the expense of signing someone to be at the top of the rotation because he has a ceiling, and that's like a number 4, which is great. You need those guys. The Red Sox have been scraping the bottom of the barrel for pitchers since Chris Sale signed his extension, basically.
Brother, I had a tryout for the Yankees this week, so I totally understand what you mean by you need a number 4 star. You need a good 4 star. I totally get it.
Just a guy to eat innings. Was there anyone who stood out on the Red Sox as a Yankee fan who doesn't watch every Red Sox game? Was there anyone who stood out like, oh, that dude could play? Since there has been so much turnover on our goddamn roster recently.
Fucking Devers, man. Who else?
Well, you knew that.
Fucking
That's not news.
Is there anybody that stood out? Pavetta's stuff looked really good. Like, I'm familiar with him because I've been picking up Pavetta off of fantasy free agent crap heaps for like 15 years. But like his stuff looked livelier than usual. So that was I was like, wow, because they said, oh, Pavetta is giving up. I was it was him that was pitching, to show you how much attention I was paying to the game.
Right.
He had been pitching for like 2 innings by that point. I was like, oh, it's Pavetta pitching, and then I paid attention. Like, okay, this stuff looks lively. Outside of that, I mean, Yoshida is kind of what we all expect at this point. Like, he's a very annoying out.
Yeah, how many foul offs did he have in that at bat late in the game today?
It was like 6, bro. It was like, oh, come on, man, just put the fucking ball in play. I don't want to watch this for another 30 minutes, man. Put the ball. I don't even care what you do. Hit it out the park. Hit it to the fortress. I don't care what you do. Just put the damn ball in play, please. Like 5, 6 foul balls. Like, all right, enough, please. But yeah, Outside of that, I really appreciate Justin Turner's game. I really appreciate Justin Turner's game. He is a solid professional.
He is, and I was upset with him early in the season because he got off to a slow start, and he isn't 21 years old. So I was just like, of all the people to get off to the slow start, I can't have it be our 38-year-old DH. And that must have lasted all of 3 weeks, and he's just been automatic the rest of the year.
He's good,
He's
man. Like you can set your clock to Justin Turner, man. By the end of the year, it's gonna be 285, 345, like 470 slug, and 20 25 home runs every year. You can set your clock to it.
Yeah, I'm looking because I want to compare him and JD. Turner's got an 832 OPS, 121 OPS plus, and JD's rocking an 856, 125 OPS plus. So in terms of just like it wasn't a trade. These two guys weren't traded for each other, but I believe they signed for the exact same amount of money and just genuinely swapped teams. Hard to say either team is upset at what happened in that. Both guys look rejuvenated. Uh, Turner's got a 2 WAR. JD's got a 1.2, but JD, you don't want JD in the field at all, so it makes sense. But
Yeah.
uh, JD's homers came back. They were down last year. So I don't think either team is upset at what happened this offseason.
So they both signed for 11 mil apiece. Just
It,
about roughly.
they were pretty much, yeah. I mean, JD's got a 1 year, $10 million deal, and I guess he got a 1 year 15. We gave Turner 15. That's news to me. Uh, that's I don't know who we outbid
Less
for
than
that.
15. Okay. So Turner and JD are combined $25 million. Josh Donaldson 22. Ladies and gentlemen, your New York Yankees.
What did you think of Bayo on Friday?
I think he has good stuff. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of him. Like I read
Sure,
stuff and I read about the command and I think it was you that mentioned that the fact that he usually isn't pitching this deep into a season, so
correct. Yeah,
fatigue. Yeah. I think based on the underlying stuff more than anything Friday because I can't take anything seriously against the Yankees lineup. Like I
sure.
don't take nothing out of it, but just the underlying stuff and his stuff. Like I think he's gonna be a guy for y'all.
I'm very hopeful. We haven't developed a guy since Lester, which is embarrassing and true. So I'm very hopeful. I'm
He's gonna be a guy.
extremely hopeful. And it like Pedro said he was the next Pedro. Pedro says that about literally everyone. Like anyone he
He's
meets.
the nicest person walking the earth, bro. Like Pedro will, bro. I could go. He could come see me pitch. I'll throw one pitch. I don't even know what the fuck to call it. Change up, whatever. He'd be like, man, this kid got it. Like
Yeah,
he's a liar, bro. Like he's a liar, dude. And in the nicest way, but he's a liar. This
that's
guy's
what
the
I mean.
man.
I don't
Like
even
no, he's
know.
not.
Like he's not a liar as much as like he's like the opposite of inside the NBA where they hate everybody and he's just like everyone loves baseball. That's just the best.
Like Pedro Martinez is like AI basically. Like they just like AI is more, I guess, mush because AI will cry at the drop of a dime and he just loves everybody, whereas Pedro is he's less aggressive with his love. Let's put it that way. But it's the same thing. Like there's no hate in this game at all.
On Friday, right before um, Bayo took the mound and all that. I guess the Red Sox pitch com was broken, which happens quite frequently. Pitch com breaks. Like it's not a good thing. They just kind of make everyone use it, and it really doesn't work. And Aaron Boone said after the game it was quote interesting timing for the Yankees to learn right before the game that the Red Sox pitch com wasn't working, which then made the MLB disallow the Yankees to use their own. Uh, so I don't like it wouldn't be shocking to me if Cora was like, you know what, let's just throw this little curveball at them just for fun. Uh, but it's very funny that after the game, a game he lost 8-1, by the way, or was that the 8-3 game?
Bro, doesn't matter.
It was the 8-3 game. Well, you guys fake tried to like you were saying
Bro,
before we got on. It was like a very fake attempted comeback. I was never concerned for a
brother,
second, but it
brother,
was
that game started at 7:10 and it was over by like 7:22 Eastern. That's how fast that game is over. Listen. I have made it a habit to not listen to Aaron Boone. Now, here's the thing: if you follow the Yankees, you're going to see some of the quotes by default. I don't.
Right.
I cannot remember the last time I turned on the TV with intent to watch Aaron Boone speak. Couldn't tell you the last time because, like, I'm here for optimism. I'm not a pessimist by nature. His brand of optimism is a little bit too aggressive for me. Like, and I just don't want to hear it. It's like they just lost 2-1. First of all, the Yankees lose painful games in the ninth inning. I turn the TV off. I don't want
Right.
to watch
Yeah, you can't be
post
watching
for
shit.
fucking
No.
what. And then I'm gonna watch the post game. Then I'm gonna have to hear Aaron Boone say, "It's right there in front of us." After losing 2-1 in the ninth, oh, with the other team down to their last out, down by a run. I don't want to hear the shit. But he says things like this, and it's just like it's like the people who bitch and moan about the ballpark and like certain when
Yeah,
certain balls
right.
go. I was like, bro, do you realize that your favorite team takes at bats in the same fucking park? You realize that, correct? They don't go across the street and take at bats at a different park. They take at bats at the same fucking park. It happens. Like the Yankees get fucked on their little league right field and left field just as much as the opponents do. It happens. I've seen a lot of 315-foot homers against the Yankees too. It fucking
Right, right.
happens. It happens. But that's what it's similar to. It's like you're complaining about the pitch count. Oh, it's interesting that this, that, and that. Like, is it possible the Red Sox were up to some nefarious things? Sure. Not here to argue. Maybe they were. Because honestly, it is kind of smart. If that was the case, it is. It is. I'm
Right.
not gonna lie. And to be, hey, 6:55 Eastern. Yo, our pitch count is not working. Yeah, to throw them off. Yeah, that's fucking smart. If that was the case, that's fucking smart. You lost 8-3, and you haven't won a game in a week. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. We're not trying. It's
No.
interesting timing. Like, okay, so let's say they were cheating. Let's say that well, not cheating. Gamesmanship. I don't think that's cheating.
Yeah.
It's a little bit game, bro. The game was over by 7:30. We don't
Right.
care. We do not care. Nobody cares about this except you. Nobody cares.
So Friday was the 2-run home run by Judge off of Whitlock. And while I'm not going to complain about the right field dimensions, I am going to say Whitlock shouldn't feel. I hope he's not continuing to take a slide back because I don't think he looked bad. Like anywhere else, that's an out. You know what I mean? And I understand it's in that field, it's a home run, the runs count and all that. I'm not trying to say it doesn't count, but for his mentality, because his velocity, the rest of his stuff outside of that pitch to the reigning MVP, he looked good. Like so, that's where it's like I don't need him. If the Red Sox are trying to be serious, which their celebration either they're going to go on a horrid losing streak, or they're actually serious right now because they're healthy and they feel confident, then yeah, I need Whitlock to just flush that one. It happens and keep doing what else he did in that game because he looked great outside of that.
I need him to have that linger and stick in his mind as a problem for going forward because I like to laugh at the Red Sox. It would be nice. I need to feel something. I want to feel something.
Listen, if you want to laugh at the Red Sox, just watch the two teams they're trying to chase because they don't lose. They just refuse to lose, and a lot of the reason they don't lose is because Julio Rodríguez just decided he woke up one morning and was like, "I don't swing and miss at pitches anymore. Actually, everything I hit
Brother.
goes a far way every single time." What's gotten into this guy? We just played the Mariners. They took 2 out of 3 out of off of us. I think he was just okay. Like, and I know he's really good. Like, it's not me saying like, oh, it was only 3 games. Like, people can have
He's been pretty much okay the entire season. Like that's the
right.
thing. Like
Yeah,
he's been just regular garden variety good instead of like he's taken a step back. Like his rookie year was better than this one is.
his rookie year was crazy.
Yeah.
He had a before. This was coming into today, and today I think he went 1 for 5. They won the game 7-6 because they just don't lose. The Blue Jays also. I mean, the Blue Jays hit like 100 home runs yesterday, something stupid like that. Very infuriating. But Julio Rodriguez, this again. So it's Sunday. So this was what Wednesday through Saturday. His average jumped from 256 to 278. His OBP jumped from 319 to 337. His slugging 432 to 430 63, and OPS from 751 to a clean 800. And his WAR or his FWAR went from 3.7 to 4.8, which is preposterous, and
Insane.
also
It's
how
insane.
fake of a stat that is, but preposterous. His 17 hits over that 4 day span was as many as your New York Yankees over the same 4 days. And he's just one fella, you understand? He's just one guy. You
Is
got
he?
nine of them. You got nine of them taking as many of it at bats as you want.
What can I say? The Yankees ran into great pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the
Yeah, great
problem.
pitching. That's the problem. All year, it's just been great pitching all year.
So I had a thought today because I didn't realize the West was as close as it is.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't think Seattle's going to lose again. If we just beat Houston we played them 4 times this week. If we beat them all 4 times, we're ahead of them.
brother, brother.
Seattle's just like higher up. Like, that's
Looking
the
at the
plan now.
standings before this show, the first time I realized, yo, Houston's kind of in peril. Like, yo, they're kind of in peril because their pitching staff hasn't been great.
No,
Like, we've watched Framber get torch and hit and throw at people for like the last three starts. Verlander hasn't really been that good all year on down the line. Like, and they're half a game ahead of Seattle right now, or a
half a
game,
game.
half a game.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Seattle has they've won eight straight, seven straight, whatever it is, and
that
they got one of the best pitching staffs in the sport, man. If Julio's just gonna go on a month-long heater where it's just like, I got us, don't worry about it, they're gonna be hard to beat.
they've lost 4 times this month.
I want to say they've won like 16 out of 20. I believe is the number I saw.
Probably, yeah. I mean, they
16 out.
lost the first of the month, and they were like, "Let's not do this again." Then they played the Orioles. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. I'm not going to ding them for that. And then they played Kansas City. They lost 1 of 4 to Kansas City. I will ding them for that.
Can't do that.
And then they just swept Houston, no problem. So yeah, they made this closer with Houston themselves. Like they shaved 3 games off of this division or
They
this
went there. They
wild
whooped
card
their
lead.
ass, man. It was a statement series for them. They went there. They said, "Listen, we need to catch y'all. We want to catch y'all." Okay, and they put boots to their asses 3 times, led by Julio's 38 hits in the series. You know, we here.
I hadn't looked at Seattle's schedule the rest of this month. I mean, did Manfred like was he a Mariner at one point in his life? They play the White Sox for 3 day off. They play Kansas City for 3 more. Then they play Oakland for 3, and all those are at home except for the White Sox ones. So they play 6 straight against Kansas City and Oakland, like 2 historically bad seasons back to back. They might listen. They're 3 games back at Texas. Like, are we sure Texas has this
No,
division?
no, we're not. No, they got a whole month left. No, we're not sure. No,
They've
and
got
Seattle's barely playing any major league teams for the next month.
no. I mean, they play at the Mets, which the Mets are terrible, but they do have to go west to east. So I don't know if they'll sweep the Mets by any means.
And the Mets
Then they
have
go to
major league players at least. Like,
some places. They got fucking Pete 1942 Alonso chucking shit into the stands and then giving autographed bats.
and alcohol to underage people.
The fuck was that, dude?
I don't like. I've never seen somebody chuck a baseball like that live during play. I've never seen that before. Like maybe the first row, fine. Never like the man wound up and just chucked it. I was like, that's interesting.
I I did see a couple Mets fans saying like he just does that. Like it wasn't that rare for him, but it's still chaotic. Like
Oh,
what
it's very
what did they
chaotic.
think was gonna happen?
It's very chaotic, and people are so over Pete Alonso that became like they acted like he committed a heinous crime on the timeline. It was so funny. They're so over that dude, man. There's no way he didn't know. Like, why do you think he would know and then do that? Like, you don't think
Well,
Pete Alonso is capable of having an absent-minded moment or two? Look at him.
I think the reason people thought that is it did look like he shook the ball in the direction of their dugout. So I think that's why people were like, why would you do that and then throw it? Like, obviously.
True, but he was doing that towards his pitcher. So there's that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's the universal side. Oh yeah, hey, milestone, like, and then he tossed it. It's funny. So funny.
Like if I'm him, I almost think that should become the thing because the fans got like signed bad, signed something. You know what I mean? We should be allowing fans to eat off these milestones, ones that aren't home run ones that they're already getting. First hits, all that. Give it to a
I
fan. Give it to a little kid.
I thought it was granted. I don't think he did it on purpose. I thought Pete did a great thing. He got somebody hooked up with bats and jerseys and shit. I thought he did a great thing.
And Mason Wynn got a bunch of stuff.
Right. Everybody wins. Everybody wins here except the people online who are letting their blood pressure rise because they don't like Pete Alonso. They lose.
Right.
Everybody else wins.
They play Cincinnati after that, which could go either way. Ellie De La Cruz did another insane thing this weekend, as he's one to
Oh,
do.
par for the course. Par for the course.
he he had the fastest, I believe it was the fastest inside the park home run in Reds history, faster than Billy Hamilton.
Insane.
And the most insane part, he clearly stops third because he wasn't supposed to run home. So it was the fastest, and he took a full stop during it being the fastest. That's preposterous.
I really appreciate the fact that he just never listened to the third base coach. I really appreciate that fact. Like the third base, excuse me, he never listened to a stop sign. Like obviously, if you wave him around, he gonna come around. Like the third base, like stop. Ellie says, "Who? No, not
Yeah.
me. No,
Oh
he just
no.
runs through it. No, I don't know what stop means for what." And it works. It works for him.
The Reds also called up Noelvi. Is it Martinez?
Marte.
Marte,
Yeah.
who they got back last year from
That's
Seattle.
the
He was
trade,
kind of
yeah.
like the prize prospect in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
If the Reds owner ever decides, like I'm not saying he becomes the Padres owner overnight, but if he's like, hey, let's sign a free agent, especially a pitcher, this team's not going anywhere as long as these guys are under control, making like he's not going to Braves this rotate. Like he's just going to let them hit free agency and lose them for nothing.
And that's the thing. He shouldn't. They will, but they
Right.
shouldn't.
No, I agree. He's doing he's hustling as backwards as one can hustle.
Bro, Ellie should have been signed to a contract 3 months ago. Like, what are we doing, bro? He should have been signed so long ago. Like the minute he came up, the Braves saw Michael Harris play baseball for like 18 innings. They were like, "Yo, we're signing you long term, buddy. We're signing you." The Reds, we've seen now 3 months of Ellie, and but I only can assume he's going to get better because he is an absolute athletic marvel who seems like he's learning the game. He should have been signed months ago. Like, what are we doing here? He's a prodigy. He should have been signed months ago. Matt McClain,
Right.
same thing. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, they have like too many players. They were shopping Indy at the deadline. There's no way he makes it through the offseason. Like he's for sure getting moved.
Yeah, as he should.
I don't like. I'm excited to see what Marte does, but like just looking at the Reds, if they don't steal the Braves' whole strategy word for word, bar for bar, like that's where an owner should be forced to sell. Like that's so dumb. It'd be so dumb to lose that.
Because it's right there. And this blueprint is not some 30-year-old blueprint that's left in Major League Baseball. No, the Braves are currently terrorizing the entire fucking sport. They're currently like we see it. We see it every time the Braves make a trade. The extension comes down the next day. They bring somebody up. The extension comes the next day. This is just what they do. Like they're paying all their players $20 an hour for like the next 10 years.
The scariest part about what the Braves are doing, the more and more times they do it, the less riskier it becomes because they have so many guys that are already studs locked up. So like Von Grisham, I don't think they gave him his extension yet, and he's been way up and down all year.
Mm-hmm.
But like if they had given him a deal, and I can't remember if they did or not, like it wouldn't even matter. Like they could take one of those deals. If it didn't work, it doesn't matter because the rest of the team's so good and so cheap. You could get some like severe misses that they wouldn't even blink. They wouldn't even notice.
Like, bro, they're paying. It's like Riley, Olsen, Albies, Acuna, and like Strider and somebody else, and they're paying them like $69 million combined next year. And so, like, and it's like, guys, this is not. I've been doing this on MLB The Show for like 15 years. This is not new. This is not new. It doesn't take a lot of brain power to come up with this shit. Except that we see the Braves, and obviously the Braves having this many hits is part of it. obviously. Like
Sure, yeah,
they've had the players that's worth doing it with. But yo, they're not the only ones that's had a run like that with players, and
no.
nobody thought to just be like, all right, if the system is going to reward robbing your players, just rob your players then. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Well, that's where, and I don't want to make this all about the Red Sox, but I will more often than not. When people shit on Heim for what's gone down the last couple of off seasons, a huge part of that conversation should be Dombrowski not signing Devers. Like when Austin Riley signed, I think it was like 8-2-30, 8-2-10, something like that.
It was like 10 for 2 something. I can't remember.
Was it a full 10? For some
Yeah,
reason, 8-2-10 was in my mind, but
yeah.
I'm sure the Braves got him for like 17 years. Uh, when that happened, I remember Red Sox stats and a couple other of us being like, all right, that's probably the benchmark for Devers. And at that point, I don't think Riley had won MVP yet. Devers obviously still hasn't won one. So it was just like, all right, he'll get a little more than that. If they had signed him right then and there, that's the same thing with Xander. Dombrowski just kind of let Xander dictate that he could get an opt out because he was taking a haircut as opposed to just paying him a little bit more for no opt out. If Dombrowski had negotiated Xander's deal better, not only would he still be here, but he'd be a third of the cost that he ended up getting. Like that's where it's like, why? I'm not saying Heim's been perfect either. Like obviously he could have gotten the Xander deal done before last season, all sorts of stuff.
Right.
But Dombrowski, like, just not negotiating with Devers, not like he's so focused on what's a massive trade I can do, what's a massive free agent signing I can make in the next offseason, that he was like ignoring his own guys right here. Devers should have like I'm happy Devers got paid. It's not my money. I don't give a fuck. But if I have to keep like you have to keep hearing about the fake salary cap, like, yeah, you should have signed this fucking guy when he was
Right.
way cheaper. You
Right.
Casas should be signed right now. I've There's enough's been seen. Casas should be signed. Bayo, I understand arms a little bit more because they're so finicky because they can get hurt and miss full seasons. Like I
And
get
some of them
that.
just stink. Some of them end up
Right,
just
yeah. Some of them are good for a year and then they're bad until
right.
they get traded to the Astros or the Dodgers and they turn them into aces again. That's part of it too. But Jesus Christ, like, how are we going to wait until Casas is a free agent and then he's going to leave or demand 3 times as much? Like, that's where it gets infuriating. What Seattle did with Julio last year, I feel like should be more the blueprint. And obviously, not every player is as good as Julio, but they gave him essentially, if I remember correctly, 3 contracts in one. So that's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you're just garden variety good, you're still going to be generationally wealthy. But we're not going to pay you 400. What was the total number? It was like
It
415,
was something
something
like that.
stupid like that.
Yeah.
But that's if like he wins like multiple MVPs and all sorts of shit that he may. Like I'm not
Yeah,
ruling
he
it
may.
out. He may. But they're like, listen, you do all that, we'll make you a billionaire. We don't give a fuck at that point. But if you get into a bike accident, if you start doing backflips like Tatis, then yeah, we're a little protected here. We only give you $150 million. Like that should be more the blueprint teams and agents, because I understand why agents don't love what the Braves are doing. But
Mhm.
if they're going to start giving out Julio more type deals where it's like, yeah, we can't predict a decade from now. So if a bunch of cool stuff happens, we'll gladly pay you more. If you're just okay, here's still a pretty fair amount. That feels like the blueprint, and I'm shocked we haven't seen a deal like that since.
I'll never get over the Ozzy Albies contract. Never.
It
Never.
gets lower every time I look
I
at it.
will
It's
never,
less and less.
dude. I will never get over that contract. And it's not even. It's not again. It's not even the fact that he signed 7 years for 35 million. Like that's bad enough. But bruh, the Braves really gave that man two team options at the end of the deal. Like it wasn't
It's
enough.
tough.
It wasn't
It's
enough
tough.
that they were taking him to the cleaners. That wasn't, and this was not like before rookie season. Albies, Albies had two different 4 WAR seasons by the time this came about, and they were just like, not only are we gonna take you to the cleaners, we're gonna put two team options on this motherfucker too. On what world would there ever be a world where you're not cool paying Ozzy Albies $5 million a year? Where, where is that gonna happen, bro? Where? Two team options, insane, truly.
It is insane. I mean that that's where the MLB should step in. And I'm not saying like release Albies, but like and not even account it towards the Braves salary cap, but they should make him pay him more. Like, listen, your numbers on the balance sheets are going to be the same. You legally have to pay this man more. This is unfair.
It really is, man. 7 years for $35 million with two team options, bro. Like not even mutual options, no team options.
Vesting, yeah, nothing,
Like
nothing.
we're gonna have to consider if we want to bring you back at $5 million a fucking year in like 2026 or whatever the hell that deal ends.
It's a while.
Madness.
He almost got like the opposite of the Andrew Wiggins deal that Minnesota gave him, where Minnesota was like, "Here's all the money in the world, but you promise you have to try harder." And he was like, "Sure." The Braves were like, "Here's the worst deal."
I've ever heard, by the way.
Right, but like the Brave, like my point is, Albies has gotten better, which no, like there's not a big payday on the other side of this. Like he's got $45 million coming towards him. Great money,
There's
but that's
nobody
it.
who's in it for the love of the game more than Ozzy Albies. Not a
No.
soul. Nobody. Nobody loves the game more, buddy. Because that money is not coming anytime soon.
Two more Julio stats is from Sarah Lang, Slangs on Sports. Julio Rodríguez is tied with 1925 Milt Stock. We all remember the 25 stock season for most consecutive four-hit games, and that's only been done those two times since 1901, which is, as far as I'm concerned, when the world started. Uh, it's 1925 and Julio this week, the most consecutive four-hit games, and the 17 hits in four games is the most in a four-game span since 1901. So basically ever. Just a preposterous week.
Having Julio Rodriguez in fantasy baseball this week has been a pleasure. And I hope that he puts together two more weeks like this. Thanks. Appreciate you, Julio.
Now the Seattle, I guess this is happening to everyone. They've made September. That's when you play your division. It sucks. I hate it so much. Um, but so Seattle does get to play the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who this weekend they reinvent ways to lose. They like we may, depending on how long Shohei is with this team, could be a month, could be the rest of his career. I won't rule out anything. I have no idea what goes on in that guy's brain. Everyone should stop pretending like they know what he's going to do.
Mhm.
We may have to have a Tungsten Arm O'Doyle segment because it's just so preposterous what happens to the Angels. And at CD Goldstein summed it up pretty well. To execute a triple play, including an out at home, to remain tied, to force extra innings, and a game that Shohei already hit a grand slam in. Like it does, it true, and I believe that was also the same game the guy they called up that they drafted a month ago debuted in. I believe all three of those things were the
I mean, he
same
was part of the
exact game.
triple play.
Right? Yeah, he was at first. Yeah, but was it his first game or was that Saturday? No,
I think it was his first game.
yeah. So it was Friday. It was literally his first game. Noah Shanuel, 11th overall pick in the draft last month, played 21 minor league games. Which, if it weren't the Angels, I would love to go off on the point where I think that should happen more often. I think sometimes too much time in the minors is also a bad thing.
I agree.
21 games because you actually need him is very funny and only could happen to the Angels.
Only because they didn't want to do it. Like they did it with the pitcher.
The shorts, they did it with the shortstop,
Sucher and Nito. Right. They did it with both of
yeah.
them. They love fast tracking their prospect. At least they don't play service time games. I give them that. Like, they don't play none of those games. They just play, hey, you said you was ready? Oh, come on down, baby.
Yeah, we believe you.
Yeah, you've been in the minors for 8 weeks. Sure. Come on down, bro. Come on down. You've only played 2 games? Oh, we don't care, bro. Come on down. We need people. We are now hiring. That's the Angels every year.
Shohei's hit 2 career grand slams. Both have come against the Rays, which I find fascinating because I would put the Rays up there as like one of the best pitching teams, top to bottom, in baseball for all of Shohei's career. So I
Yeah.
found that to be interesting.
They lost both of those
But
games, didn't they?
of course, I have no idea about the first one, but I would be shocked to find out that they won a game.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and guess that they lost. It makes for a better story anyway.
So Seattle,
Like they hit a
Seattle
grand
may
slam
just
and
win.
had a triple play in the same game and lost. Like it's unbelievable. With it out being at home plate, no less. In the same
That's
game
the
they lost.
That's the crazy part because the Red Sox hit into a triple play against your Yankees this year and just absolutely beat the dog shit out of them in the same game. Like I don't know, I don't know that I've seen that many times either.
Brother, I don't even remember a triple play. So you got it. I
I'm
don't remember
pretty
that at all.
sure Verdugo, someone just took off from second on like a lot. I think it was hit and run in his mind. I can't remember the exact mechanics of it, but it was like I remember being furious, and then the Red Sox won by so much that I was like, "Wow, there was a triple play in this game, huh?" What do you know?
Hey, the Yankees and Red Sox have played what 9 games against each other,
I think it's 10
nine or
because
10, whichever. I remember
right,
3 of them. This past 3, I don't remember shit that happened before this, bro. I don't
and
remember.
you'll forget them by tomorrow.
You could have told me there was 6 triple play. I'd be like, believe you. I have no, I have no choice but to believe you in this matter because I don't
Well,
remember.
because that was either the seventh or eighth straight win. Because I believe it started off Red Sox won the first game of the season series, Yankees won the second, and then that was that. There was no more Yankee wins.
The Yankees been laying down, man. Take the free
It's
wins. Here they are.
well, that's again going back to the celebration thing. I do think that's where they were like, we didn't fuck up this series. Like, thank Christ, thank Christ.
Well, the Astros about to tap that ass, so you don't see.
Maybe I don't know. Like the games against Houston are always weird. Even the ALCS, like Jackie Bradley won World Series or ALCS MVP. He had one fucking hit. It was just happened to be a grand slam. Like it wasn't like the we didn't beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? But I think it was only a 5-6 game series. Very strange
It's fine.
series. Like
It's fine.
last year we played Houston and they just peppered Devers with high fastballs for like 18 straight pitches. Didn't hit a one of them. And then we went to New York. The Yankees tried the same strategy, and you started teeing off. It was like, no, it doesn't work with you, bozos.
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing
But
works. But,
no, but Houston, I didn't realize. Yeah, they're battling. Like, I think the West still gets 3 teams in, but I don't know who's winning that division.
I mean, the Mariners are the hottest team in baseball right now. The Astros have their cachet, and the Rangers have been. The Rangers have the highest scoring offense in the sport, which feels impossible with the Braves sharing the same space.
Right.
But they have the highest scoring offense in baseball. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. That's the only compelling thing about the AL. And I know that's one out of 3 divisions. I get it. But the
Sure.
Central needs to be abolished if we're going to be real about it. The East, I mean, the East seem like the Orioles to lose at this point because the Rays are
They're
going
only
through a
3 back.
transition. But yeah,
They're only 3 back. And Baltimore, I mean, Baltimore's talking about calling up Jackson Holiday.
that would be cool.
They would. I don't know what. Like, where's he going to play? They have so many fucking players. Like, they playing 10 guys. Did I just figure out the Orioles are actually cheating? They're playing 10 guys.
Who's playing short for them right now?
Is it not Gunner?
I thought he was playing third. Or am I making that up?
You're right. I think he is playing third.
Let's see. I
They've
think he's
got
playing shortstop right now.
no. They've got Gun. I mean, Mateo still gets plenty of run at short, but their official depth chart on at least Yahoo is Gunner at short and Westberg at third. But Westberg's played how many games? 39 games. So I don't. Yeah, Gunner's. I think they're perfectly content putting Gunner at third and Holiday at short. And yeah,
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah, I think that'll be okay actually. And I mean, they do have depth, which is good for them. You know, they have Westberg. They have who did you just mention? It was Henderson, Westberg, and somebody else.
Mateo.
Oh yeah, they have Mateo, who's cool. They got pieces. Jackson Holiday. That's what we need. We need prospects like that getting the call. They were talking about Jackson Merrill and San Diego getting the call. That would be cool. Bring these prospects up.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Orioles don't need offense; they need pitching, but it's not something they can just magically create at the moment. I'm
Right.
all in favor of strengthening your strengths. It would be very cool, and since he is Matt Holiday's son, I feel like he is ready faster than other players. Like he's not walking into a clubhouse for the first time. He's not walking out of a tunnel for the first time. He will be like to go play, but all of those parts of it he's been doing most of his life. So that's where it's a little different. He's not. I don't think he's going to be as like, oh man, I'm at the show. I think he's going to be like, yeah, it fucking took long enough. I've been ready.
And also, Gunners played 67 games at third and 54 at short,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay.
He's both.
And Gunner, this motherfucker. Did you see what he did today?
Yes, I
What an
did.
asshole.
He went 5 for
He,
5, right? And
he
he had to hit a single for the cycle, and he hit a double instead.
yeah, and the whole dugout. They, the Orioles have been celebrating doubles all season. Not this one. Not this one. Everyone was furious.
I
And
didn't. I don't blame them. I mean, I don't
I
blame
love
him.
it.
Excuse me. I don't blame
I don't
him.
blame anyone involved.
I love them
I
being
think
there.
they were right. I think he was
Eight
right.
hundred to one. Who cares? Like, yeah, they could be mad about that shit. If it was 3-1, I bet you it would be a different reaction in the dugout.
Sure.
Right, but the score was 800 to one. Yeah, be fake mad. Yeah, I love that. Be fake mad, and then him take your extra base because guess what? Your slugging percentage just went up. Your OPS
Right.
just went up, etc.
Right.
On down the list. So yeah, pad your stats, young man.
It's not a video game. You don't get a bonus for it being the cycle. It's cool.
Right.
It's historic, but a 5 for 5 game with multiple doubles and no singles is even cooler. So yeah, that was
Exactly.
just very funny. Like we said in the first episode, I don't hate or like the Orioles. They just kind of exist, but they are objectively like a funny team with all the celebrations they do.
Yes,
Them just being young and good. It's an enjoyable team to watch.
it is the anti Yankees.
That I mean, most of the league at this point. They but there was something you wanted to talk about in the NL, and it's the MVP race that I was told was 1 month ago.
See, that people just disrespect Marcus Lynn Betts too much, in my opinion.
Unfamiliar.
People just disrespect him too much. Now, let me make myself clear here because things can get lost in translation sometimes. If you want to say Ronald Acuna's MVP, I'm not here to argue with you. You want to say Freddie Freeman's MVP, I'm not here to argue with you. Even hell, Matt Olson, put him in that. I don't necessarily put him in that tier, but he's had a great season on his own. Fine. I think when you're clearly not the best player of your own team, I think it's hard to make an argument for you to be the MVP of the league. So I leave him out because of that. But if you want to put him in, be my guest. Now, I think the man with the initials MLB is the MVP as of today. Now, obviously, Ronald Acuna might go on a Julio Rodríguez streak and make this a complete moot point. By the time you might see this, might make it a moot fucking point. But he leads the league in WAR. He has 34 homers. And in situations like this where you're kind of picking nits between three guys who are close, he's also basically been a fucking utility player. Like he's played a whole bunch of right. He's played 45 games at short. I mean that's second, excuse me. He's played 20 games at short. So he's done a little bit of everything. Has the highest WAR in the league for those of us who indulge in that stat. Has 34 homers. And like to me, the difference between him and Acuna is that Betts is a really good defender. Acuna is not. That's the biggest difference. And I know we don't. When it comes to players like this, we don't care about defense, and honestly, rightfully so. Because ain't nobody here for Ronald Acuna's defense. We're not. But when you're comparing players at this high level, it has to come up. It has to be a factor in it, to me at least. And to me, Mookie has been the best player in the NL this year. Very, very, very slight margin. But I'm here to talk about Mookie because I don't think Mookie gets enough love, personally.
So Mookie's got the higher OPS, the higher weighted runs created plus. That's 165 to 164. It's not a bloodbath by any
Right.
means. 7 defensive runs saved to Acuna's 1, and 2 outs above average to Acuna's -5. So that's where it's like, but Acuna also has, I think, 47 more stolen bases, something
Yes.
preposterous like that,
Yes, he
which
yes he does.
it's I like me and Tyler have been screaming about stolen bases for since I've met Tyler. Like we've been yelling about the lack of stolen bases. And baseball was just like, we don't care about stolen bases. So now the MVP conversation, you're going to hear a lot about the stolen bases. And I agree that they matter. But even if he had done this 2 years ago, it would have been a footnote instead of an argument. piece, like instead of leading the argument.
Right.
Because I don't disagree with you. Like I almost think the Dodgers name is knocking Mookie down a little bit because people have just come to accept the Dodgers' regular season dominance at least.
Mhm.
But even last offseason, the Dodgers didn't move how they typically move. They were trading for bargain bin shortstops, like pretty close to spring training because they didn't have an option there. Now, obviously, they have a plan. Their plan is Shohei Ohtani. Their plan is every other good player coming up over the next couple of years. I get that. Soto, all of them. That's what they're saving this year's money for. Mookie and Freeman's been unbelievable too. Mookie has like carried them. Like I thought they were gonna have a down year because of how like they were waiting. They were waiting. Mookie was never waiting. He's like, I'll play all 9 if I have to. People will be naming their daughters after me in the middle of this fucking season. That's how good I'll be.
What a legend.
Like
What a legend.
this is a guy. If you ever get him on your team, you got to trade him as fast as possible. You just can't have a guy. He makes everyone feel bad. You understand because he's so much better than you. Not even just at baseball. He'll take you to the bowling alley. he'll go dunk on you despite being 5'4". Like he'll go do all of it very quickly. It is shocking, and I've seen a couple of people make this point. We do it every year. I remember. I think it was 17. It was around this time, August. They took AL Cy Young off the board. That's how much of a lock it was for Chris Sale. They took it off the board. You could not legally put money on AL Cy Young for multiple weeks because Chris Sale was that far ahead. I believe Kluber won that one because Sale September was very mediocre and Cleveland was dominant. And I believe Kluber finished with like lower ERA, higher WAR, all that. So like these awards do kind of come down to the last season.
Oh, for
Obviously,
sure.
last year Judge had the narrative. Roger Maris Jr. was writing columns from April until the last day of the season. Narratives do help early, and Acuna isn't undeserving, which you made that point.
Yeah, for sure.
But I did think it was over, and looking at the numbers, it really shouldn't be. Like I do think Mookie is better.
Like Acuna ran out and hit for a minute, and then like Mookie was like, "Not so fast, not so fast, not so fast." And he's here because I didn't realize it until last week how close he was because in one of my group chats we were talking about it, and this whole time I'm like, it's either Acuna or Freeman, whatever, blah blah blah. Then someone was like, "You probably should pay attention to Mookie." I looked at the stats. I was like, "Yo, you're right. Mookie is right there. He's every bit as good as the rest of the competition for this award." And I think if things hold up the way they are, I think he should get it by a hair. But this is not like one of them years where somebody who clearly doesn't deserve MVP gets it. Like 2012 AL MVP, for example. I'm still furious about that 11 years later, but it's neither here nor there. One of 3 people deserve it. If you want to give it to one of them, be my guess. But I'll argue that Miguel Cabrera didn't deserve that shit till I'm dead. So
the Triple Crown, I understand you discount RBI because he's not doing everything there. I get it. If it was that easy, we'd see the Triple Crown more often. Like I celebrate that Triple Crown as I do all Triple Crowns.
So give that man the Hank Aaron Award and get out of my face then. Like, give that man the Hank Aaron Award, be done with it.
That was a disgusting Tigers lineup. Like we're talking about Mookie carrying a Dodgers lineup, like a little in jest because they still have a decent amount there. And that was not the case with that.
Brother, we talking about comparing that to the Angels.
Sure, I get
And
that.
the Angels won more games that year. On top of that,
Pujols was there. Yeah, Pujols was there.
That's what we're doing.
I don't even know if he was. I don't even know if he was.
I don't think he was either. I don't think he was. He might have. Actually, he might have been. I might have been like the first year of his deal. Either way.
Did he win that ring in 13 and then leave?
I don't know if he won.
Or no, we won in 13.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that was his first season there, so he was still decent. 30 days.
Ain't no way y'all are gonna sit here and tell me that Miguel Cabrera was the best player in the American League that year because he objectively was not. And
listen, you're walking down a dangerous path here because I'll tell you who was not the best player in the AL last year.
The guy with the 12 WAR. You're gonna sit here and lie in my face like this?
Oh, first of all, I don't respect war, both the actual war and the
And
stabbing.
that's
I
just
never
makes me
have.
want to,
I
that
never
just
have.
makes me want to use it more. But go ahead, keep going.
Oh, like Otani was clearly better.
He
We
was
want to use the Angels thing against him.
he was not clearly better.
He was.
If you want to argue he was better, be my guest. Clearly, my ass. No, no, no.
He
Clearly,
was
no.
fucking top five pitcher last year and a top two hitter. That's clearly better. Like that's Judge was a
He was not a top
bottom five
pitcher.
pitcher last year.
He was
Last
not a
year
top pitcher. He was not a top
in
pitcher.
the AL, not overall. In
Okay,
the AL.
okay, okay,
In the AL. That's what I was arguing. AL MVP. I
okay,
think I thought that was understood.
okay. Fair, fair. You got me. Okay, but yes, the guy with the elite defense and the 200 weighted runs created plus was just as good.
You know what's elite defense? Being an ace pitcher. That's the most elite defense can be.
Fair. I'm not arguing that Shohei Ohtani is not a more valuable player. All I'm saying is it was not clear he was better than Aaron Judge last year. That's all I'm
It
arguing.
wasn't
Clear as a
wasn't
stretch.
wasn't
Clear as
clear
a stretch.
Mike Trout was
Oh
better
yes,
than
yes the fuck it was. Oh yes, the fuck it was. Because guess what? Defense and base running are a part of baseball. And Fat Boy at first for the Tigers wasn't providing either one. If we gonna go there, if we gonna go there, let's go there. He wasn't providing shit.
he's
So
playing some solid first base. What are you talking about?
yeah, and MLB the show.
He was
Sure,
making some
in real
scoops.
life, stop it. He provided nothing, and he won the award because he won the Triple Crown. Brother, there have been like 14 Triple Crowns in the history of baseball. More than half of them didn't win MVP. So why the fuck am I supposed to care about Miguel Cabrera's?
People were stupid then.
They were stupid that year too. In a different way. They were dumb that year too. Like they chose to be dumb in a different way. Congrats to them on
Let me ask you this:
that.
if Otani had the exact same season last year, but he played on the same team as Aaron Judge, who do
That's
you
it.
think do they?
Oh, wait. Who do I think?
Who wins the MVP?
That's a good question.
I think part of the reason Judge got it was he was on the Yankees, and Roger Maris Jr. was making a big fucking deal of it. Like he didn't break any records. They made it out to be like he broke the home run record.
He did break a record. First of all,
which
now it's a record you don't care about, and neither do I. He broke a record. The AL home run record is a record, whether we like it or not. It's a record.
Well, here's the thing, because this is just going to piss you off, and every Yankee fan watching this. When the AL home run record was set by Roger Maris, there was no interleague schedule. He only hit home runs against the American League. Why are we counting Judge's home runs against the NL for the AL home run record? If it's such a thing, like everyone claims it to be, why isn't it more clandestine?
Because he plays in the AL.
But he didn't only hit home runs against the AL. I think he hit like 52 against the AL.
Times change,
dude. I could do that.
Times change, man. Yes, it's a different league now. Times change.
That's why it doesn't. That's why it's not a thing. Like that's my point. It's not a thing. I didn't see anyone tracking Trae Young's Eastern Conference 3-point record. I didn't see any fucking Justin Jefferson NFC receiving record. None of that. That never has happened.
NFC.
Yankee fans acting like this is a thing was insane.
It was a thing, man. You're just a hater, which is fine, but it is a thing. That's a record. Like you could call it a meaningless record if you like. I'm with you. I wasn't champion no AL home run. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But the fact of the matter is, it is a record. Whether
they were throwing fucking lacrosse balls for the last month and a half because that's every pitcher was like, is this a real baseball? I get this is what I have to throw.
They should. I think they should do it all the time. Actually, good. I think they should. Maybe the Yankees can go up from 1 run a game to 2 runs a game if they just have them throw the baseball, have throw that baseball to everybody. Yeah.
Dodgers are sitting as the number 2 overall seed in the West, not the West, the National League. They're just kind of going about their business. It's sickening. It's genuinely sickening.
They plug guys in. They play. They keep going. That's it. It's just very business-like for them. Unfortunately, my favorite team is not on that kind of plan, man. But the Dodgers got it going, and we'll see if they get Ohtani in the offseason.
Hayward's played 93 games. He has an 803 OPS.
Investigate the Dodgers. Investigate the Dodgers. Like, and I knew it was. I knew he had a good OPS. I didn't know it was 800. Investigate the Dodgers, please.
Mookie's or not Mookie, Kike Hernandez's OPS was 599 with the Red Sox, 747 with the Dodgers. Ahmed Rosario has as many hits since the trade deadline or as many home runs, excuse me, since the trade deadlines as he had in the first half with Cleveland since he got to the Dodgers. So it's like Ryan Brazier's got like a 1.8 ERA. It's disgusting what they
I
do
saw that
over
one.
there.
That one pissed me off. Like Ryan Brazier is useful now. Nah, man. Investigate them. Investigate.
With the Red Sox this year, he pitched 20 games, 7.29 ERA. With the Dodgers this year, 24 games, 1.11 ERA. His whip is in half. It went from 1.57 to 7.4. His batting average against is 139. What are you talking about? What is going on here?
Investigate them, man. They cheating. I don't know how, but launch an investigation. Get the feds involved. Launch an investigation. Get the Dodgers up out of here because they cheating. Or if the Yankees fire their GM this year, get one of the nerds from LA and let him bring all of his binders and game plans and how they execute the cheating. Bring them on, please.
Lance Lynn, 119 innings pitched with the White Sox this year, 6.47 ERA. 25 innings pitched over 4 starts with the Dodgers, 1.44.
Listen, I don't
Like
know what Lance Lynn is going to do for the rest of the year, but Lance Lynn was the most obvious candidate for improvement. The most. I was like, oh, he got traded from who to who? Oh, he about to have to say he about to have a great second half. They're just going to be like, all right, man. See all those pitches you throw that suck. Stop throwing them. All those pitches that you thought you're good at, throw them.
it's disgusting. It's just genuinely disgusting. But speaking of your boy Miguel Cabrera, did you see him get handed his retirement guitar in Cleveland today?
Yes, he threw the fake hands.
Yeah. Joe Ram was like, I can't laugh at this. The MLB asked me to not laugh about this. It was very funny. Him just shaking his head like he knew he wanted to enjoy it more. And he was like, I can't be celebrating this.
Dude, like imagine squaring up to fight somebody on TV in front of millions, getting knocked out, and then getting suspended for twice as long as the person who knocked you out. Yo, what a series of L's! Holy hell! And that
his
man
next at bat. His next
Lord.
at bat, he gets hit by a pitch, right? That was Garrett Cole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next at bat, he got pitches. Correct. Yes. What a series of L's.
Poor Tim Anderson. All they had to do was trade him anywhere, and that doesn't happen. His reputation's intact, his jaw's intact, all
And he
that.
got slapped,
Instead,
and he got the fire slapped out of him by a teammate. I forgot that story too just now. Yeah, somebody grabbed out. I was like, hey, I'm not having that shit. Smacked fire out of him. Yikes! Tough
it
year.
hasn't been his best season. It
Tough
just
year.
hasn't.
Tough year for Tim. On and off the field. Tough.
It is. It has been a tough year, but that's been episode 2. Sorry, but Cavs Yankees are just really an embarrassment to the sport.
Sorry. I'm not fucking sorry.
I'm sorry for the sport. Like
fair. Fair. Oh yeah, they're doing a heavy disservice to the sport. You're right.
I'm very used to seeing the AL East reverse. Like Yankees on top, Red Sox 2, Toronto 3, Tampa, Baltimore on the bottom. Now it being upside down is not something I care for. It's not a development I needed in my life.
I agree.
But we'll see next week. Hopefully Houston takes it easy on me. That's not what I needed. It really doesn't matter who your team's playing.
I don't even know. So I don't even know. So
now I'm interested. Now I'm just curious. Can it even help me at all? No, you get an off day, much needed, and then you play fucking the Nationals, like completely irrelevant series.
7 off days.
You play
and 7 more.
You play the Nationals for 3, Tampa for 3, and then you get at Detroit for 4. So it's just
It's,
like
it's gonna be
very
fire when they lose 8 out of
inconsequential.
those. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be so fire. They're gonna get swept by the Tigers. That's gonna be so fire. Oh, that's gonna be so good.
Baez going crazy, but
Oh my god, they're gonna throw Baez strikes. That's what they're
yeah,
gonna do.
right. That's
They're gonna throw
exactly
him
what's gonna
strikes,
happen.
and they're gonna go nuts.